Welcome to the Never Ending Backlog podcast, your place for short reviews from a gamer with the goal of reducing his backlog. From adventures to sandboxes, join our host as we walk through a collection of unplayed treasures. Now, let's take a look at the featured game of this episode of the Never Ending Backlog.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to the next episode of the Never Ending Backlog podcast. I'm your host, Zach, and today we'll be reviewing Eador Genesis in this bite-sized PC game review. First and foremost, it is a top-view turn-based game, like the Heroes of Might and Magic series. However, it also has dialogue choices that mirror Morrowind, Skyrim, or other RPG choose-your-fate games. I am playing this on Steam. It was produced in 2009 by indie developer Snowbird Games, not to be confused by my favorite developer, Snowblind Studios, who are the creators of Champions of Norath, Dark Alliance, and Lord of the Rings War of the North. I will say right now, Dark Alliance was one of my favorite console games growing up. Could be on PS2, GameCube, didn't matter. Loved it a lot. We played it for years, my friends and I. Other games released in 2009, Plants vs. Zombies, a bevy of 360 games, Wii U games, and PS3 games. So sometimes that helps for reference, just to kind of think about what else was developed in this year. It has earned a very positive review on Steam with 251 reviews. So bonus points there. We're going to jump right into the resolution, graphics, audio, tech specs. It started right off in window mode, so therefore already earned bonus points because you've heard probably numerous complaints already enough about how my 5760 by 1080 triple monitor NVIDIA surround setup has a struggle with games running in all three monitors, especially the older games or games maybe by indie developers. I understand it's not the more common tech specs, but once in a while it's nice to be able to support it. And if you can't support it, just force people to do it on windowed mode. Not super challenging. I know because I have friends that are game developers that do this, so props to them. Graphics are very similar to Heroes of Might and Magic. I would say somewhere between games 2 or 3. So not one of the newer Heroes of Might and Magic. This is definitely old school retro. Looks great in my opinion. The soundtrack seems to change in different environments, which is really nice. If you're a fan of medieval or fantasy soundtracks, especially those from the 90s or early 2000s, then this game will provide a phenomenal audio experience for yourselves. The compositions also have a variety of instruments, which is nice on the ears. You can hear harps, violins, percussions, etc. As mentioned, the soundtrack is phenomenal. It is similar quality to a well-performed PlayStation 1 soundtrack, like an RPG essentially. There's not a specific one that comes to mind, but it just sounds like it comes from a game of that time frame. Not quite, 360 and PS3 that were actually coming out at that time. Just please seems old school. It is an indie developer making games in 2009, so that is a little bit more rare, since that wasn't really a huge thing at the time as much. There are no character animations during battle scenes, so think of a pre-Windows 95 game, or think of the first game you might have ever created on Game Maker Studios, and you haven't quite gotten to the lesson yet where you animate the sprites yet. I don't believe that this is negligence on the developer. It seems very much so intentional, as there are some very technical components in the game that far surpass that education and knowledge. So I think they're really trying to aim for that late retro, late 80s, early 90s kind of vibe that they're looking for. Like I said, early Heroes of Might and Magic. Not exactly super great graphics, not trying to be as well, and really going for the storyline, the gameplay functionality, and the mechanics. Battles are particularly entertaining as it shows the PNG sprites of your character moving on top of an enemy NPC. So think of a retro chess PC game animation. It's moving, and then it just kind of like glides over and hits the enemy real quick. It's like glide, glide, glide. And there's no real animation there. It's just your sprite jumping, overlapping their sprite. So I think it's kind of funny, actually. Once the enemy does die, though, there is a GIF of a Grim Reaper's face. So it's a nice little touch to know, either you're dead or the enemy's dead. It's a quick way to know real quick. There are a lot of tutorials. It is appreciated, though, and you'll kind of see why in future episodes, because there's a few moments where I've been playing other games and there is a lack of tutorials and it gets frustrating. I understand some of these games are made for people that are fans of the series, so therefore they already probably know how to play the game, but it's not user-friendly for new people that want to jump into these games. But I digress. This game has a lot of tutorials. There have been kind of just a pretty easy process overall. It is a lot of reading, but it is broken up really well. And it is a fantasy, strategy, tactics type of game. So it really the reading kind of adds to that environment. It does have a unit management system that allows you to hire fighters and different type of heroes in your party. You can build various buildings inside the capitals and the cities and the landscapes that you own. And then you also claim property tiles that provide resources and bonuses similar to the Civilization series. So think of like Heroes of Might and Magic mixed with Civilization, mixed with like a tactics Fallout style grid-based attack thing based in a fantasy medieval time area. So there's a lot of stuff going on here, but it all flows really well. The game, like I said, is certainly well constructed. I was hiring units from various towns to join my party, and the militia are extremely weak, which I was really bummed. Like these are some of the first units you get. You have slingers and militiamen. So I tried the militiamen to join my party with my hero. Goes out there, they just get instantly slaughtered, dead. Boo. On the description for the militiamen, which I think is hilarious, it says, "These are necromancers' best friends." And I think, okay, I played necromancers in games like Diablo 2, Diablo 3, so that means they probably, they reanimate them. And I thought this was just like a funny little quote that there wasn't actually a gameplay aspect to this. Nope. Next level, my hero learned raise skeleton, so my militiamen would die. I'd bring them back to life as skeleton warriors that were much stronger, much just better in every way. So then I basically got 2 warriors for the price of 1, which I think is a cool aspect. And the fact that they played off on that was really nice. The Necromancer can also generate skeleton warriors out of the enemies as well. So you'll see when the creatures die, you see that little Grim Reaper animation. There will now be a pile of bones on the ground that you can bring back to life with your magic and mana spells. So I think it's really done well. It's funny, those little things. I like the way that's really kind of laid out. The game does have a multiplayer environment. It has LAN, which I want to try out. It has internet, and it also has single PC, which I have been thoroughly loving that. I was playing just yesterday with my wife, Golf with Friends, and it's a single player, or you can play it on a single screen and just take turns back and forth. It's nice sometimes to just have that, where you're just sharing a computer and you're not, playing online or playing in LAN. It's just sometimes it's an easier process. So I really like that they did this. I know, Civilization games do this as well as most, strategy games, especially those turn-based strategy games, they have those type of things. For game pricing, the historical low of the game is 59 cents. The current best on Steam, I believe, is $5.99. It can be purchased as a bundle with 3 other Eador games for $37.37. And overall, I really enjoyed this game. I got into the Heroes series quite late in my life, as I have often preferred RTS over turn-based strategy games. But I really, really do enjoy this. The funny story is I was choosing a battle on one of my tiles, and I saw you have these choices. It's like you raid these battles, and you have 5 different types of enemies you can choose do you want to fight. And, there's like mages and skeletons. I'm like, these all seem really difficult. And I saw Slug. And, I've played Dragon Quest games. I should have known better. But I thought, slugs can't be that hard. They're probably melee. And I could probably just jump right in there. Well, I was wrong. First of all, the slugs, they're not melee. They're ranged, actually. So I chose slingers instead of militiamen because I thought I was going to attack them from a range. Well, that was a huge mistake. My slingers pretty much got wiped out within the first 3 turns. Next up, my hero went after them and also got slaughtered by these slugs. Never killed one of them. They were without a doubt incredibly difficult. So, similar to the slimes in Dragon Quest, do not underestimate the slugs in Eador Genesis. It's unfortunate. It is recommended in the reviews on Steam to download the free mod called New Horizons, which balances the gameplay, adds new features, and overall just improves playability. I will certainly be checking that out. It is a free mod, so definitely check it out. There's a lot of help tutorials out there. I think there's a wiki article as well of how to install and set it up. Try it out. If you like Heroes type games with a massive storyline that you choose your dialogue, I think this is probably a game for you. I am going to actually keep this game, at least until I try out the mod, and then see if there's any noticeable changes, like maybe the slugs won't murder me in the first 5 seconds. I'm also going to check it out and hook it up to a retro LAN party to see how that works. I tried it online and there was nothing available. I might have been doing that incorrectly. I kind of rushed this part of it. And I really just wanted to jump in the single player aspect. But I really would like to try this in a LAN mode. I might do, a single computer multiplayer mode as well and try it out with friends and see if they like it. But I think overall, I'm definitely going to keep it. Like I said, at least try out the mod and see where it goes. But in the end, great game. Eador Genesis, really well done. The developer has quite a few other games out there. I don't know if I actually own the other Eador games in the bundle, so maybe I'll pick it up and get the rest of them. I am looking forward to playing this more. So thank you on this episode of the Never Ending Backlog podcast. I hope you enjoyed this, and we'll see you tomorrow.